Hey guys, what is up? Spectre here, and I just wanted to give a really thorough review of my new favorite weapon in Destiny, and that is Treads Upon the Stars. I won't only be reviewing it, but I'll be matching it up to some of the other widely used scout rifles in the game. Again, it's called Tread Upon the Stars. It can be dropped during strikes, usually of either Heroic or Nightfall difficulty, and I believe they drop during Cabal-based strikes, so after defeating the Bond Brothers or Valis. I got both of mine from Valis Tariq on Heroic and the other on Nightfall. If we take a look at the weapon itself, its description reads, Ghost has tried to translate this weapon's inscription, but the Cabal language has proven difficult to parse. As you can see, it's a pretty cool looking intense weapon, but let's look at some of the perks and the roll that I got on this. Now I used the True Sight IS, flexible sight, light with good recoil control, strong target acquisition. I think that this sight is pretty good at multiple ranges. There's also a sharpshooter lens, and then another sight for more close quarters combat, but again, I felt that this was the most flexible sight that was available, so I used this one out of personal preference. Now, the first perk that we have on here is Crowd Control. Kills with this weapon grant bonus damage for a short time. Now, I could think of a few other perks that I'd rather have in this slot, but this isn't all that bad at the end of the day. The next is Perfect Balance. This weapon has extremely low recoil, and we'll be testing that a bit later on in the video, but it is definitely helpful, especially when you're in those matchups where you're just a few shots from killing them and they're a few shots from killing you in the Crucible. It definitely helps in those standoffs. The next is Braced Frame. Increased stability and reduced magazine size. I don't use this because I hate small magazines. And finally, Will of Light. This weapon deals bonus damage against taken enemies, which I don't fight all that often, so I don't really use this perk at all, ever. And finally, and this one I love for PvP, Third Eye. Radar stays active while aiming down this weapon's sight. It's honestly a great perk to have on your gun in PvP, and it really helps me out during Iron Banner. I'm not much of a Trials guy, not into that whole intense 3-player stuff. I like going Lone Wolf on my team in Iron Banner and cracking a couple skulls, and this perk definitely helps with that. Now, having taken a closer look at the gun itself, let's see it in action. I just want to give you guys a look at how flexible this gun is, from super long ranges to more short range and more mid-range work. And at mid-range, it is absolutely great, as you can see here. I hate when a magazine runs out extremely quickly, and that's not really a problem with this gun. So let's take a quick look at the recoil of this gun. So I'm going to fire at this stalagmite here. Oh, okay. I don't know what that was, but alright. Anyway, so I'm going to fire here. I'm going to try to hit this sort of gray area towards the top. This is fighting the recoil, pushing it back down when it wants to pop up. As you can see, it doesn't dance around too much. Now, this is me not fighting that recoil at all. It has a bit of an initial jump, but from there it sort of stabilizes, landing just above that little dark crease in that rock formation behind this. And to truly give you a taste of this weapon's capabilities, I wanted to compare it to some other great scout rifles in the game. The first being the Saturien Rapier. This is another scout rifle that I absolutely adore, but I gave it to one of my alts in favor of the Treads Upon Stars for my main. Now, if we compare these guns, the range is a little bit less on the Tread Upon Stars, and the reload speed is a little bit slower. But again, we're comparing the recoil here, so I'm gonna fire again while fighting the recoil. And yes, this has exploding rounds, and yes, it's awesome, and I love it. So as you can see, it dances around quite a little bit even when fighting recoil. It just does not stay up there, but it bounces a little bit more downward. This is without fighting any recoil at all. So as you can see, we're instantly jumping quite a bit higher, hitting a bit higher on that rock formation in the background there. with a bit more of an initial jump on this gun than Treads Upon Stars. Now we're going to switch to Call of Ance's Duty, another great gun, the scout rifle from the Iron Banner. Now these are different scout rifles. The Treads Upon Stars is the high fire rate, low impact variety, where Call of Ance's Duty is the high impact, low fire rate variety. So they do serve different purposes, but again, this is just comparing the recoil between the two. Now this will be fighting the recoil again. As you can see, even when fighting this recoil, there is a huge jump that you have to pull back down from every time you pull this trigger. Now here I won't be fighting the recoil at all. Again, even with just one pull of the trigger, we're jumping up to that base mark, that little dark crease in the rock formation that we were only hitting after a few shots with the Treads Upon Stars, so the recoil is a bit more drastic in these other weapons. Further proof that this is a really stable scout rifle. And you might be thinking, we get it, it's stable, but how much of a punch does it actually pack against other players? Because again, as I said earlier, the roll is great for PvP, and the answer is, it's great in PvP. I've found a lot of success there as well. As you can see, even though Treads Upon the Stars is a bit more of a low impact, high fire rate scout rifle, it still packs a punch with each shot, and the feeling of the gun itself is actually pretty great. Each shot feels powerful in its own right, and you really feel like you're doing damage with each trained shot rather than just spraying and praying, and I really do enjoy using this gun from every facet, from its roll down to the way it feels when you're shooting it. It's just a great scout rifle to use and will help you rule at Iron Banner and maybe even Trials of Osiris if that's your thing. It is all around just a pleasure to use, so definitely hit those strikes and try to get that to drop for you. And that's about it. If you enjoyed this, please do drop a like, and if you haven't subscribed for regular content, at least 2 videos a week from me, from games spanning from Destiny to Overwatch to The Division to Fallout 4. I'll be posting more weapon reviews in the future, and as always, thanks for watching, guys.